Friends, welcome into another edition of Soccer Tejas today at Katy International Sports Complex with a very special guest, the one and only Gabe Segal. First of all, Gabe, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Talk to us about today. I love the interaction you're having with the kids, Dynamo Dash Camp, keeping kids busy during the summer, but I'm sure this means something to you too.
Oh yeah, I think any time I can get out to a field like this and see all the kids that still are playing, they just love the game. You know, they're out here, they're trying to get better, but also just enjoy it. And it's always kind of rejuvenating to see that in a world where now being a professional, it's a business and all that, but this is where it all starts. So it kind of reminded me when I was a kid doing the same thing.
Talk to us about that. Do you have memories of a player or players that you interacted with when you were younger? And I'm sure that meant a lot to you.
Oh yeah, there were plenty. I used to go to first like the Maryland college camps, and there were a number of players there at that time, and then DC United had some, and then I just grew up in an area where there was always a lot of players with high aspirations that I looked up to. I was younger than them, but playing with the older guys kind of helps you get better. So that was always, my summers were filled with these types of camps.
Did you know Coach Ben when he was still playing?
Yeah. So I was in the DC area and everything, and I was fortunate enough to get to go to preseason when I was a little bit older, obviously not this age, but so I would watch him growing up too. So it was funny to see him as a player back then and then now as a coach.
And his memory may be, a little bit old now, but does he remember you when you were younger?
Yeah. We go way back, so he remembers me.
Speaking of the team this season, it's a team I think we all know had a change from last season to this season. Regardless of that, Coach Ben and you and others are finding a way to stay competitive, and the playoffs is a reality, is a real goal this season.
Absolutely. I think we started off a little slower than we would have wanted, but as you said, it was a new team, a lot of new pieces and all that, and we've continued to kind of pick up form as it's gone along, and I think it wasn't anything about kind of a change in the mindset, because I think we always were bought in and working our hardest and everything. I think it just all kind of started to come together, and we were consistent, as I said, with the kind of hard work and training and approaching it the right way. And I think we definitely are excited about the rest of the year, because I think we're just going to keep getting better.
You mentioned the rest of the year. We're a year off from the World Cup coming to the United States, Canada, Mexico, and Houston. Does that excite you? I think anyone that's around the sport gets excited by this.
Absolutely. I think some of my earliest soccer memories were watching the World Cup, and you just see the best of the best going at it, and that's what you want out of soccer. That's what we all want to see, and to have it in the U.S. is even more special. I think we all hope we can get to some games, but just it being here brings a level of excitement. I think for the sport too, a lot more interest can be drawn in from viewers that maybe have seen some, but not that much. And I think for our league, MLS, I think it can be a really important step in getting it to the place we want it to be.
Talk to us about Jack. Jack, speaking of the national team, he scored a golazo in the last match out. I know the team isn't winning, but do you talk to him about the national team? Do you guys, as younger players, do you bond over things such as that?
For sure. I mean, first of all, ever since he's come in, he's been a great presence in the locker room, and he's become a very close friend of mine. He's a great guy, and you see the talent on the field from Jack. It's clear to see every day in training and in the games and everything, and he's a big reason why we have had some success. And I couldn't be happier for him the other day with the goal for the national team. Obviously, they didn't win the game, and that's the most important thing in the national team setting. But I'm proud of him and kind of his performances.
Lastly, and maybe this is more of a collective bargaining agreement question or relative to the business of this. The Club World Cup is coming up. There are players who talk about the allotment of money based on performance, based on participation, and that there should be more for the players. Any thoughts on that? I think many of us see the business of Club World Cup, of the World Cup itself, and we imagine maybe there's a lot of money there, but I think players deserve their percentage, their share.
For sure. And I think that when you look at the numbers of allocation percentages of the revenue and everything, it's way too low for the players, and I think there's a good reason why there's been a united front on this from the Players Association and all the rest of the players to push for what they deserve. I think, as we've said, it's a really exciting moment, the World Cup coming, and and it brings a lot of revenue and excitement to the league, but it's important that we take care of the business matters as well, and that needs to be fixed.
Are you a rep yet for your teams? Because if not, friends, I know in the future you've got the mindset for it. Does that interest you, leadership-wise?
Of course. I think we do have a number of other guys on the team, veterans and everything, that have some more experience. But I love having the conversations within the locker room about these sort of things because obviously at the end of the day we're players and we play on the field, but there's a lot of other things that need to be taken care of. And yeah, it's important to talk about too. And I think the more united we can be as players, which I think we are, the more we'll be able to get done and push the league to where it's supposed to be.
Gabe, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Friends, the one and only here at Katy International, Gabe Segal. Let's follow him. Let's get behind the team of what remains this season. And, of course, we're grateful to him for being here with the kids. So until next time when we meet here on Soccer Tejas.